We have Quintin James on the line now here at Behind the Lens for Miss Runway Supermodel Australia. You were one of the judges for the pre-finals. How was that experience?
It was a good experience. I think the competition went pretty smooth, wouldn't you say? It went well?
Yeah, it definitely
did. You guys were happy? Yeah, from a judging yeah, sorry.
Did you say that, could you tell if the girls were nervous at all from the judging panel? Were you nervous?
I don't get nervous, honey. I don't get nervous. I'm a seasoned professional. I don't get nervous. I got nervous walking down those stairs. I was like, if anyone's going to trip, it'll probably be me, the runway coach. But I didn't. I did all right. No, look, I think, yeah, you could, the very first walk, yeah, you could see their mind working a bit more than, but that's kind of what you expect. I think the goal is for them to not show their nerves at all. That's why we pay models. We don't really care if you're nervous or not, get out there. But I mean, you see backstage at, any major fashion shows and the models are standing there going, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. So I think nerves are a good thing. And yeah, the first walk, some of them, not all of them, you could see their mind working. You could see them looking the room and trying to navigate what they're doing. But that kind of went away as they got into the flow of things in their own skin and what they were trying to do. Yeah.
What would you say is your overall feedback for the girls?
In general, just general feedback?
Yeah, just in general.
I think take your time. Take your time. The thing I felt with a lot of them, there was a lot of racing, not just necessarily in their pace of walk, but there's that thing where you get to the end of a runway and you've got to stop, and that 4 seconds or 6 seconds feels like forever. It's like, what do I do? But that's really super important. It's important for the photographer, videographer, the judge, the host, whoever it is. It's really, really important. And I don't think they really took that on board. They were very quick in getting on and off. And I would really like to see a little bit more of that, just stillness and confidence, so we can actually look at them and look at what they're wearing. Because the beautiful thing is they weren't just presenting themselves, they were presenting labels. And their own little creation. So it's a good opportunity for us as judges then to take all that in. And there were points where we're going, who was that? What are we doing? They've gone. It's kind of like, come back. So yeah, I think just taking the time down the runway, taking the time at the end, and then at the end before they leave, taking that as their final moment too.
I think that was really interesting as well. And I would say if I was a judge on your position, it would be a challenge, because seeing labels coming into the runway, and when it's a runway competition, it's a bit different. It's like you're enjoying a show, but then you also forget, I'm supposed to be scoring that person in front of me.
Yeah, it's kind of like
when it came to that, how were you able to juggle that when you're like switching from audience to judge?
That was the thing. It's like, for me, I had to look at the person, focus on the person, and then look at what they're wearing and going, how are they wearing that? Do they suit that? Are they displaying that label effectively? So it's hard, because the first thing, you're so focused on the individual. But when they come out a couple of times, you have a bit of an idea of where they sit and what they're going to do. Then you can actually enjoy the show. But then you've got to remind yourself, oh dear, I'm working. I have to judge this person, like you just said. So it's that's why, having a little bit more time on the runway would actually help, because we do have those two facets. We have the actual person that's in competition. Then we have them as looking at professionally how they would work on that runway, wearing that garment. Is that suitable for them? Do they show it off? Is their body type right? Are they owning what they're wearing? I guess is the biggest thing. So we did have to sort of really think two things at once.
I think one of the most common questions I had when I was talking to the girls personally was because it was a competition, they weren't sure if they could like show off the clothes as in like touch it and play with it, or if they just had to leave it alone and walk. What would you say about that?
Well, that's a hard one as a judge, because it depends on the criteria of the competition. Is it a strict runway competition? If so, then you've got to go enter that runway thinking, I'm on a fashion show. That's my main goal is to sell the garment. Your main goal is to sell the garment, then less being flamboyant or facial expression is important. If you're there to sell yourself as a contestant, that's when it changes. That's where I think you can be a bit more characteristic, a bit more fun, a bit more boppy, whatever. So I think that really, as a judge, I can't answer. I think it comes down to the rules and regulations of what the competition, I guess, is trying to do. They're the things that we want to focus on the runway. Their presentation was really important. Their energy and their confidence, their body type, their I guess their overall appearance is super important, and how well they look after that.
Okay, so we'll get right into the individual feedback. So I think we'll start with number 1, who was Adrian Macari.
Okay.
You know what she looks like?
Yeah.
I think you've got this is her in swimsuit. Yeah, so what's your general feedback? Maybe we'll go by category. Do you have one in category, or was it like a general feedback that you had in mind?
Well, no, I did. I looked at each category, and I looked at what they did in each category. And honestly, the feedback for some of them is identical. They've literally been a cut-paste version of themselves in each different category, and sometimes they've changed it up depending on what they're in. I think with Adrian, the thing was contestant number 1, she had a good energy as she entered. There was a solid confidence with her. There's certain postural things I would work on when it comes to her head position in relation to her shoulders, her arms swinging, a little bit things like that. Confidence when it comes to that pose. I think when she hit the end, she was really confident. She was really strong. It's just entering sometimes that last pose. It's like, when do I go about doing it and how long do I hold it for? Do I move around? That maybe. And maybe some arm positionings, like hand positions. And they're usually a thinking thing for some people when you're concentrating. Some people twitch, some people do different things. So just maybe toning that sort of stuff down a little.
Work on those. How would you say, because I know she was the first, so she was opening every category, I think. Yeah. Would you say keep moving around at the start before she starts walking, or stick with one pose until the beat?
At the very beginning, you mean? So when she comes out and stops?
Yeah.
No, I think that needs to be really strong. That's when you're presenting yourself. I wouldn't be when you move around too much, it's distracting. I think, there's nothing wrong with changing a pose, and I think it can be done. But if you do it too quickly, it's like, what is she doing? Where is she going? What's happening? But I think if you're going to come out, I would just be really, really strong, stare straight ahead, be super confident, like, I own this. I am so in this. Walk down that runway with that mindset. And I think when you walk on and you're worried about the stairs or you're worried about your garment, that's when it starts to show. So I think just walk on, be really still, really present, look at your surroundings and go, I've got it. I've got this. Yeah.
It's kind of like freezing time and just letting people stare at you.
Yeah, but that time, that 5 seconds feels like eternity. And then you've got all these things running in your head, the lights, the steps. What are they thinking? And all these different crazy things. You've got to get all that out of your head completely and just be in this little tunnel, which isn't easy to do. It's hard.
Okay, so next girl, we've got Brooke.
Yep. Which was contestant number 3?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So I wrote here, great presence. She has a really good energy on the catwalk. She looks actually relatively comfortable. So it's not like, oh, I've never done this before. So that was really good.
Really?
Yeah. I
actually just did an interview with her the other day, and she was saying that she was nervous.
Really?
And so that means she was able to compose herself really well.
Yeah, and I think just being still but not scared looking, like really just having a relaxed face about her and just a good strong walk made all the difference. Let me just have a look. I've got my little notes there. I've got notes.
Okay.
So I just wrote she had a really great presence. Maybe work on some timing of her walk and going in and out of the poses. But overall, pretty smooth. I liked it.
Oh, wow. That's good. Next contestant we'll go over is Chantel Hall. Should be number 4 on your list.
Yes. Okay. Great posture, nice and strong walk is what I wrote. So the thing about her was she made you want to look at her, which was really important. Like, if you're sitting in the audience and you're like, oh, here's someone, and you're looking at your phone, that's not a really good sign. She actually made you want to actually watch what she was doing. So that was good. She had a really good energy.
So when she came in, it was kind of like that power, and you were just looking at her constantly. Yeah. That's exactly what you want as a model, especially when you're trying to show off a garment, right?
Absolutely.
Next girl we'll go over is Libby Elizabeth Miller.
Oh, yeah. Is this number 5?
She's number 6.
Number 6. Oh, here we go. Needs to pose longer.
Yeah.
Needs to own the moment at the top and at the end. Yeah. Was just on, off, see you later, bye, got something else to do, that kind of thing. Yeah.
The timing. Was she able to pose enough for you? No.
Well, I'm a long poser person. You know, like I'm one of those people that like, especially you've got the judges sitting there, but it's all about being in a position so everyone can take a good look at what you're doing. So when I enter a runway or a show or something like that as a performer, I go in with this mindset of I am the best on the planet right now. I am the center of the universe, right? Which is this is me in general. But when I'm on the runway and when I do the pose, that's in my mind. I want to be there long enough so everyone can really see the garment from the back, the garment from the front, and me. So I think with her, she had a really strong pose. The pose wasn't the problem. It was just too quick, in and out. And then I'm left going, hang on, wait, I haven't really got a good look at you because we've seen you walk down the stairs, we've seen you come towards us, but I need to get a good look. You know what I mean? And then take the time walking back a little bit so we can see that as well.
What advice would you give her? Because she's actually the tallest girl in the competition right now.
Yeah.
I think she said she was 6 foot. And so her strides would be a lot bigger than the girl. So maybe that has something to do with speed. Would you just say take smaller steps or just take it slower?
I think, see, this is where you're working the same length of a runway. So if you're tall and you've got longer legs, you're going to get from A to B in a quicker time. Let's face it. I don't think you want to adjust your walk too much because the problem is it will then become unnatural for you. You need to do your gait and your stride the same as you would normally, so long as it's on a straight leg, posture's the same. I think if that is the case and you've got less time in the same space, you've got to use your pose situation as best as you possibly can. So if you're not allowed to pose in the middle, let's say that's the rules, you really got to take the time at the end and really take the time so as you walk on and right near the judges or at the end of that runway to get that time for yourself, to get that opportunity to be on the runway the same amount of time as everybody else.
I like how you said if it's against the rules. So let's say the rehearsal doesn't involve stopping in the middle. Since they are in a competition, would you say they should if they feel like they stopping in the middle, should they do it?
Okay, this would be my advice. If you're in a competition and there's no rule that says you can't do X, Y, and Z, and you feel comfortable doing it, do it. Because you're competing, aren't you? You're showing yourself off. Yes, you're wearing a garment, but that's complementary. This competition was not about the garment. It wasn't a fashion show per se. It was about a competition. So you have to represent yourself. And if you're not doing all the things that you can do to win, why are you in it? You know what I mean? So if there are no rules and you feel it's appropriate at a time to stop in the middle, look at the side, or turn around, show the garment off again, why not? I would. Yeah. Okay,
next girl we had Emma Cox.
Okay, so same. I had here amazing presence actually, smooth walks and good timing in her poses.
Good timing in her poses. Anything else?
Yes.
Did she have a good pace?
Yeah, I had what I wrote for the first one was amazing presence. So she was another one for me that I didn't want to not look away from. Good energy, very good.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so next girl we have Mary Bride.
What I had here for her was work your stride and your gait in some of the things that when she was walking, it didn't change timing or anything, but I think just watch the size of your gait and your stride and make sure that it's consistently even, and also that you're really stepping onto that straight leg with your body up, but a good confident walk actually.
Why would you say it's important for it to be even?
Because it looks odd otherwise, unless you're going if you're doing 1, 2 big steps and little steps, unless it's choreographically in time with the music, like if you're say doing your normal stride and then you're doing half time, something like that to match a particular track or to match a feel of a song or the garment itself, or you're changing the timing to get into your pose, those things are kind of fine. But I think if you're not consistent down the runway, it's going to look a little disjointed. You need to create consistency between A and B. Whether your B is the middle and then C is the end, wherever that point A, B, C, those points need to be, there needs to be consistency.
Definitely. And we're on to the last girl, which is Talia Langfield.
I really liked her. I liked her.
What do you like about her?
Oh, that's it. Interview over. I liked her. No, she had a really. There was something about her. The thing about her. Okay. So you see her come out. You're like, oh, she's not very tall. Oh, no. But
she's also, I think, just about 5'6" or 5'7".
Yeah, she has a good. You know, when you say to some people they have that X factor, right? There's something about her that she just looks awesome. She just looked really, really good, confident, not like super, super confident, but she looked natural doing what she was doing.
Like she was just loving the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And really taking it in, taking the time in the pose, getting really good lines in her pose as well. There wasn't a lot of variety in poses. They all pretty much did the same thing, but she had a really good line in hers as well and really knew, maybe she just knew her body a little bit better than some of the other girls. I don't know, but she knew what worked and what didn't work. She was good.
So I guess it's probably just that self-confidence on stage. And for a lot of them, or for all of them, I think except Adrian, this is their first time on the runway.
Yeah.
So I think all the feedback that you've been given is really interesting, and I'm sure the girls will be really happy to hear it. I know that they are practicing now on their own at home, which can be a bit difficult because they've been used to practicing together. What would be some of your tips? Obviously, just practicing alone for the girls.
Video yourself. Video, because there's so many things as a performer, as an artist or whatever, you think you're doing, and you look at yourself and you go, I didn't know I was doing that. What's that? Seriously, what's that? You know what I mean? I do it as well. So I think the thing is when you're in a stressful situation as well, you do things you don't normally do as well, which is where doing that competition is really good for them because they get to see themselves in a pressure situation, not just a rehearsal situation where they're fun and da-da-da. That's pressure. Yeah. So they get to see how their body reacts. And this is the thing when I teach runways, it's not just about being able to walk. You have to know yourself really well. Psychologically and physically, you need to know, does this shoulder move forward? Does my leg do this? Do I turn in with my leg? Do my thumbs do something funky? You need to know. So video yourself, doing lots of different types of walks, timing changes, poses, still photography stuff. Just shoot yourself as much as you possibly can because I guarantee you'll learn more about yourself than just walking up and down the hallway.
Do you recommend that they take inspiration from someone who's already well known in the runway and try to copy that, or do you recommend that they develop their own?
No, I don't think you should copy anyone. I think that's the beautiful thing about if you look at any of the super famous runway models, they've got their own style. You just look at them and you go, that's Cindy Crawford, that's this person, you just know they all have amazing walks, but they are in a position to project their energy and their personality. So no, I don't think you should copy, but I think you should be inspired and you should learn from people that have been in an industry a long time that know what they're talking about or can physically do that one thing that you can see, and you can see them implemented in a show. So I think inspiration is really important because it gives you a guide, but I don't think you should go, I want to be that person. You know what I mean? I want to be on the same level as that person, yes, but I don't want to be that person. You've got to find your own little things.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the thing that's going to be able to sell you to, labels and designers and casting people and television people is that personality part as well. So don't lose that.
I think one of the most things that you really touched on with every feedback you gave was if they had power coming in. Now, there were some girls that you were saying just loved it. They had great presence, etc.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the girls who you didn't give that feedback to? How would they be able to find that confidence or be able to possess that power when they walk into the stage?
I think it's a hard one because it's such a personal journey Confidence is not something that's easy for everyone. Some people have it. Some people have to really work on it. And it's a skill. It's a tool. And I think we have days where we feel super confident. We have days where we don't. And then the days that we don't, we have to, what do? We have to act. We have to put it on because that's our job or whatever it is. So I think you've got to find something about yourself that you really love. I love my nose. I love my hair. I love how I am with people, whatever it is, because when you come to that point of positivity about yourself, you're going to find other positive things about yourself. When you go into a mindset of negativity, oh, I don't like how I walk, or my hips are this, or my legs that, you're only going to find negative things about yourself. And you're just going to go down and down, down into a spiral. So find positive things before you walk out, and don't compare yourself to the person before. That's the thing. You know what I mean? You have that time on the runway to do your thing. Don't be like contestant 1 or 5 or 6. Do contestant 3. Be like contestant 3. Be yourself and bring yourself to it. So find really positive things about yourself and tell yourself those things all the time. So you do believe them. So when you get out there, you're going to have that kind of aura and energy that the audience is going to gravitate to, and they're going to see different things. But you want them to look at you in a positive way. No one's in that audience judging you going, oh, she's terrible. Everyone's there to enjoy the experience with them, right? And I think that's the other thing. Everyone just goes, oh, they're going to hate me. They're not going to like how I walk or whatever. No, that's not what they're there for. They're there. They're paid their money for tickets. They're industry professionals or their family and friends. They're there to support you in a competition. So allow that energy and that support to help you. That would be my advice.
In many ways, the feedback that's been given has been like, they all have similarities, but they're all also different according to the person. So that's also really interesting. But when the girls see this feedback that's been given them, it's their time to kind of look back at the video and then go back to your feedback and kind of match it together and make sense of what they can do to improve themselves. So thank you so much for your time.
I hope it helps.
I'm sure it will, because the girls, they're all very optimistic and they're always up for the learning journey.
Yeah. Just
can't wait for the finals. They all seem so excited.
That's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Quintin.
Anytime.
Have a good day.
See ya.